My brothers and sisters, let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you became unrecognizable? Not to your enemies, not even to your friends, but to you, the version of you that's been stuck, broke, tired, afraid, lazy, undisciplined. What if, in just 1 week, you could create momentum so massive, so magnetic, that even you wouldn't recognize the person staring back in the mirror when most people want to change their lives? First thing they think about is setting new goals. They write down what they want to achieve, how much money they want to make, how much weight they want to lose, or how many clients they want to sign. But here's the truth. Setting goals without shifting your identity is a setup for failure, because you will never rise above the image you hold of yourself. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. And what you are is a reflection of your internal belief system, the identity you've built through repetition, emotion, and reinforcement. If you see yourself as average, then no matter how big your goals are, you will sabotage yourself to stay average. If you believe you're not disciplined, then no matter how many times you try to start something, you'll find a way to break your commitment. Why? Because your subconscious identity always wins. It governs your thoughts, your actions, and your results. That's why real transformation doesn't start with action. It starts with identity. When you begin to see yourself differently, everything changes. You act differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. And that internal shift becomes the foundation for consistent external change. People often say, "Fake it till you make it." That's the wrong mindset. The real power is in it until you become it. Begin operating as the person you intend to be even before your circumstances confirm it. When you declare, "I am disciplined, I am focused, I am successful," you're not lying to yourself. You're speaking to your potential. You're giving your brain a new assignment. The human mind is wired to seek congruence. That means your actions will eventually align with your dominant identity. If you consistently say, "I'm terrible with money," your brain will look for ways to validate that belief. But if you say, "I'm a wise steward of finances," your brain will begin to notice opportunities, habits, and behaviors that align with that truth. You have to interrupt the old narrative that has kept you in cycles of failure and start building a new one that supports the life you're called to live. This isn't just about affirmations, it's about embodiment. You don't just say it, you act like it. You live like it, you show up like it. Identity shift is about creating such alignment between who you believe you are and how you show up that it becomes impossible to return to the old version of yourself. And here's the key. Identity is built through repetition. You don't become someone new by saying something once. You become someone new by saying it, doing it, and repeating it until it becomes your natural state. People don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they're trying to build a new life with an old identity. They're putting new wine into old wineskins. They're trying to reach the next level while still holding on to the labels that have defined them for years. I'm lazy. I'm not consistent. I'm not good enough. You've got to kill that version of yourself, not softly, not gradually, decisively. You've got to become unrecognizable, not just to others, but to yourself. The you from last week should be shocked at who you've become today. That's how you know you're growing. You have to start acting in agreement with your future, not your past. Every decision, every habit, every conversation should reflect the next level version of you. Not the broke you, not the bitter you, not the tired, scared, or uncertain you, but the powerful, focused, God-ordained version that's already inside of you, waiting to be unlocked. Most people never experience real transformation because they refuse to eliminate what's holding them back. They want breakthrough without sacrifice. They want elevation without separation. But here's the reality. You can't change your life if you're still carrying around the same distractions, habits, and people that built the life you're trying to escape from. If you want to become unrecognizable in 1 week, you have to be willing to cut off everything that is not aligned with the version of you that you're trying to become. And you have to do it with precision, no hesitation, no apology, ruthless elimination. Distraction isn't always obvious. It's not just your phone, your television, or social media. Sometimes it's a person. Sometimes it's a toxic mindset. Sometimes it's comfort. It's the small decisions that seem harmless, but are actually dangerous because they delay your destiny by one more day. And the danger of distraction is that it doesn't look like destruction until it's too late. That's why you've got to be aggressive about identifying and eliminating what doesn't belong in this next version of your life. If you want to elevate, you've got to evaluate. Look at your daily routine. What do you do when you wake up? Who do you spend time with? What kind of conversations are you entertaining? What's on your playlist, your watch list, your feed? Is it feeding your faith or feeding your fears? Is it pulling you forward or keeping you stagnant? Distraction is anything that pulls your focus away from your assignment. And your destiny depends on your ability to protect your attention. You have to decide that your purpose is too important to waste on things that don't matter. There are people who will call you arrogant when you stop entertaining their drama. There are friends who will feel rejected when you say no to the group chat, no to the event, no to the hangout. But hear this, you're not rejecting them, you're protecting your future. Growth will always offend comfort. And the people who are comfortable staying average will always be uncomfortable watching you rise. You cannot heal in the same environment that broke you. If your surroundings are full of compromise, excuses, and low expectations, then your results will reflect that. Sometimes the biggest leap you can make is not a new opportunity but a clean break. Cut it off, the late night scrolling, the constant comparison, the conversations that leave you drained, the habits that steal your energy, the mindset that says it's okay to wait. You don't have time to wait. Time is your most valuable asset, and every distraction is costing you. This doesn't mean you become harsh or prideful. It means you become clear, you become focused, you start living with intentionality. You start asking, does this align with my future or distract me from it? And if it distracts you, you delete it. Not next week, not someday, now, because you are in a season where precision is necessary. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. You can be loving, kind, generous, and still be selective with your time. That's not selfishness, that's stewardship. You have to take back control of your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. What you focus on multiplies. If you focus on distractions, they grow. If you focus on purpose, it grows. But you can't have both. You can't chase clarity while entertaining chaos. You can't pursue destiny while clinging to dysfunction. And you can't ask for acceleration while refusing to release the anchors. Something has to go. And if you're serious about becoming unrecognizable in a week, it's not going to be the vision. It's going to be the things that violate the vision. The way you start your day determines how you live your day, and how you live your days determines how you shape your future. Most people wake up reacting. They wake up late, hit the snooze button 3 times, check their phone, scroll through notifications, and begin their day already behind. That's not morning mastery, that's mental chaos. If you want to change your life in 1 week, you have to take control of your mornings. You can't afford to let the world tell you who you are before you've had a chance to declare it for yourself. The morning is not the time to consume noise, it's the time to create clarity. Mastering your morning isn't about being busy, it's about being intentional. You have to craft a morning that aligns with the life you're building, not the life you're trying to escape. That means no more waking up by accident. You wake up with purpose. You wake up with order. You wake up with a plan. The first moments of your day should be sacred. They should belong to your mind, your body, your spirit. Not to emails, not to text messages, not to the opinions of other people. If you're serious about transformation, you must stop renting your mornings to distraction and start investing them into development. One of the most powerful things you can do in the morning is speak. Speak life, speak vision, speak gratitude. Your words shape your perspective, and your perspective controls your energy. Instead of saying, "I'm tired," say, "I'm grateful to rise." Instead of saying, "I have to work," say, "I get to build." Your language in the morning sets the tone for your entire day. You can shift your mindset before your feet hit the floor. You can prime your thinking before the world has a chance to pollute it. Alongside speaking, your morning needs movement. Physical movement isn't just for your health, it's for your momentum. When you move your body, you wake up your spirit. You send a message to your brain. We're not just surviving today, we're showing up to conquer. Even 10 minutes of movement, a short workout, a walk, some stretching, whatever gets your blood flowing, it matters. Energy is not something you wait to have. It's something you create. A powerful morning is a physical, mental, and spiritual command to the day that you are in control, not the chaos around you. Then there's stillness, prayer, meditation, journaling, reflection. Stillness is not weakness, it's strength. The most dangerous people in the world are not the loud ones. They're the ones who are grounded. When you begin your day grounded in truth, connected to purpose, aware of who you are, you become unshakable. Before you respond to the world, you sit in stillness and hear from the source. That's where confidence is born. That's where clarity shows up. That's where peace replaces pressure. Structure your morning around your future. Don't just copy someone else's routine. Build one that reflects your priorities. If your future requires you to be strong, then strength needs to start at sunrise. If your future requires you to lead, then leadership begins the moment you wake up. If your future requires you to create, then creativity must be invited in early. Your morning is not random, it's a ritual. It's not something you survive, it's something you use. When you win the morning, you stop chasing your day and start commanding it. You stop reacting to problems and start responding with power. You're not waiting for motivation to show up later, you're manufacturing it in the first hour. And the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan, you just need a committed one. One that says no to laziness and yes to legacy. One that makes your growth non-negotiable. One that makes sure you rise, not just from your bed, but from the level you used to live on. Most people live their entire lives at the mercy of their emotions. They wait to feel motivated before they move. They wait to feel confident before they speak. They wait to feel ready before they act. But the truth is, emotion is unreliable. It changes with your mood, your circumstances, the weather, your hormones, your sleep. If your entire life is dictated by emotion, then you'll only ever be consistent when life feels easy. That's why people stay stuck. They wait for a feeling that never comes instead of building a discipline that never fails. The people who win in life are not the ones who feel like it every day. They are the ones who move based on principle. They've decided that their mission matters more than their mood. They've built a pattern of taking action regardless of how they feel. That's how momentum is built. You show up when it's hard, you work when you're tired, you speak when you're scared. You move when your body says stop, but your purpose says go. That's what separates those who live with impact from those who live in regret. Action is not something you wait for. It's something you generate. You don't have to feel like going to the gym to get the benefits of working out. You don't have to feel inspired to write that book or launch that business. The blessing is not in the feeling. The blessing is in the obedience to what you know you're called to do. Feelings follow action. Confidence follows obedience. Motivation follows motion. And when you learn to act first, your emotions start aligning with your direction. Every time you take action when you don't feel like it, you break the power of procrastination. You're not just doing a task, you're training your brain. You're sending a signal that you are in control, not your excuses. And over time, those small decisions compound. What starts as discipline becomes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That's how transformation happens, not in a moment of hype, but in 1,000 small decisions to move when it would have been easier to sit. People often confuse discipline with punishment, but discipline is a gift. It's the bridge between intention and transformation. Without it, your best ideas stay trapped in your mind. With it, even your average days produce extraordinary results. Discipline says, I will show up to the assignment even when the emotion is missing. I will write the page, record the video, make the call, do the reps, honor the plan. And that kind of discipline doesn't drain you, it develops you. It strengthens your will. It sharpens your focus. It increases your capacity to handle pressure without folding under it. When you build your life on principle, you become untouchable. You're no longer at the mercy of moods. You don't need perfect conditions to be excellent. You've got an internal code, and that code doesn't shift when your feelings do. That's when your consistency becomes dangerous, because people can't predict your greatness based on how you're feeling today. They can't sabotage you by making you feel unworthy. They can't slow you down by throwing obstacles in your path. Because you've already decided if the mission is clear, the movement is automatic. The difference between a professional and an amateur is this. Amateurs wait to feel like it. Professionals act anyway. Amateurs need a push. Professionals have a pull. A vision so strong it drags them through days they would rather quit. They don't make decisions based on energy. They make decisions based on assignment. And that kind of decision-making builds a life that others watch with awe, because it's not built on hype, it's built on habits. What you speak becomes what you see. Words are not just sounds. They are spiritual containers that carry power, direction, and creative force. The reason so many people stay stuck in cycles of lack, fear, confusion, and failure is because their mouths are agreeing with the wrong future. Every time you say, I can't, I'm not good enough, this always happens to me, I'm just not that kind of person, you are not just describing your reality, you are declaring it. You are prophesying failure over your own life and reinforcing the exact identity that's keeping you small. There is no such thing as a neutral statement. Every word you speak is either pulling your future toward you or pushing it away. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot curse your finances and expect overflow. You cannot declare how tired, broke, stuck, or lost you are and expect breakthrough to show up. If your mouth is constantly contradicting your desires, your life will always stay in conflict. You will never rise higher than the level of your language. Your words shape your atmosphere. They either make room for greatness or give oxygen to fear. You don't just talk about your life, you steer it with your words. Every great shift in your life begins with a new declaration, not when things get better, but before. When the bank account is low, you say, I walk in abundance. When your body is in pain, you say, I am healed and whole. When your emotions feel heavy, you say, I have peace and clarity. Speaking life is not denial, it's alignment. You're not pretending problems don't exist. You're choosing to agree with truth over circumstance. The challenge is that most people are fluent in defeat. They've rehearsed negativity for so long that it comes naturally. They think they're being realistic, when in fact they're being self-sabotaging. It takes intentionality to reverse that pattern. You have to retrain your mouth to speak from vision, not from memory, because if you keep talking about what's always been, you'll never walk into what could be. You have to break up with the language of limitation and become fluent in the vocabulary of victory. Speaking life means you talk to your situation, not just about it. Most people complain, few command. They report what's going wrong instead of declaring what's about to change. When you speak life, you're not waiting on the world to shift. You're shifting the atmosphere around you with every sentence. You're telling fear it has no place. You're telling depression it has to leave. You're telling procrastination it can't stay. You're giving your future instructions. You have to make it a habit to speak power, even when it feels unnatural, especially when it feels unnatural. Because those are the moments when your words carry the most weight. When things look the opposite of what you're saying, that's when you're building spiritual muscle. That's when you're sowing seeds that will create a harvest later. What you speak today will show up tomorrow. Your life is following your language. Start paying attention to every word. Don't just let anything come out of your mouth. Monitor your self-talk. Shut down anything that doesn't serve your assignment. If it doesn't agree with your purpose, don't speak it. If it doesn't line up with the life you're building, reject it. Become militant about what you allow yourself to say, because your words are shaping more than your mood. They are shaping your reality. This is why so many successful people are so intentional with their declarations. They speak as if the future is already finished. They speak as if they've already won, because they understand that the mouth is the steering wheel of destiny. It's not about hype. It's about harnessing the creative power you've been given and using it to speak what should be, not just what is. One of the fastest ways to elevate your life is to shift your focus from self-preservation to service. Most people spend their entire lives trying to protect, preserve, and promote themselves. They're constantly asking, what's in it for me, or how do I get ahead? But the irony is that real power doesn't come from self-focus. It comes from selflessness. When you start living from a place of service, you tap into a level of impact, influence, and fulfillment that money and status alone can never produce. Serving others isn't just a moral principle. It's a strategy for unlocking your next level. The problem is that service has been misunderstood. People think serving means becoming a doormat, sacrificing your own dreams, or putting everyone else's needs above your own. But service, at its core, is about using what you've been given to help others rise. It's not about shrinking. It's about shining in a way that lights the path for someone else. When you show up with a mindset of contribution, you stop competing and start creating. You stop measuring your worth by what you receive and start defining it by what you give. There is something powerful about giving from a place of overflow. When you make it your mission to pour into others, you become a magnet for growth. People are drawn to leaders who lift. Doors open for people who serve without keeping score. It doesn't mean you let people use you. It means you choose to be useful. You bring value to every room you enter. You make people better just by being there. And the truth is, when you make impact your priority, increase will follow. Service multiplies your influence. It's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing to use that talent to elevate someone else. Your gifts were never meant to be hoarded, they were meant to be deployed. That insight you have, that wisdom you carry, that skill you've developed, it wasn't just for you. The reason you're stuck might not be because you're missing something, it might be because you're withholding something. When you release what's in your hand, you make room for what's next. People often ask for purpose but ignore opportunities to serve. They want to know their big calling, their life assignment, their divine destiny, but overlook the person right in front of them who needs encouragement, guidance, or help. Purpose is not always a lightning strike. Sometimes it shows up in small moments of service. Sometimes the doorway to your next level looks like helping someone else step into theirs. When you start asking, "How can I help?" instead of "What do I get?" you position yourself for divine acceleration. Serving sharpens your character. It teaches you humility, empathy, and responsibility. It exposes your ego and forces you to grow beyond yourself. And in that process, you start becoming someone people trust, someone people respect, someone people want to follow. Influence is earned through impact, and impact is created through service. When people feel seen, helped, and empowered because of you, that's the kind of legacy no title or position can ever replace. You don't have to be famous to serve. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have it all figured out. All you need is a willingness to take what you've learned, what you've overcome, what you've survived, and use it to pull someone else forward. The experiences that once embarrassed you can become someone else's breakthrough. The pain you once tried to hide can become the story that frees another person. Nothing in your life is wasted when you decide to serve with it. Serving doesn't slow you down, it builds you up. It positions you for visibility. It expands your capacity. It connects you with people and opportunities you never could have reached chasing success on your own. There is no shortage of favor, only a shortage of people willing to become vessels of value. When you live to serve, you're never empty. You are constantly being refilled with wisdom, favor, strength, and grace for the next assignment.